Ba-ba, ba-da-da, ba-ba, ba-ba-ba-ba, ba-da, ba-da. That's right. Welcome to Footy Unfilterated. I do love the intro song, Ramshackle Army, because it just does
Absolute
mean
banger.
it's just like footy's back for me, Jez. That's just how it goes. Like, that's just now how it rolls. I'm like, now I get to talk about footy for the next hour and a bit, and it's going to be good. That's it. It is Footy Unfilterated. I'm your host, James Clements. On the other side of this here screen is everyone's favourite participant in seemingly the Essendon coaching panel, I assume. It's Jez. Jez, what's going on? Well,
not only am I participating in the panel, I'm also one of the candidates, and I've got as good a credentials as any, I promise. But I'm just sitting here with the what's going to happen in September this year behind me. It's your mighty Blues. They're going to win the flag, and this up here behind, that'll be history repeated. So I'll let people guess which one that is, but I reckon a real Carlton fan to know which grand final this one is behind me. But we'll let people have a bit of a Google see. It's not because I couldn't work out how to get it down to size to have it behind me. It's because I wanted to create a bit of mystery and a bit of fun for the viewers who watch us on YouTube. So nothing to do with my technical incapabilities, Jim.
No, why would it be? No one is doubting your technical abilities, Jez.
And anyone who does, I'll fight you.
Round 16 of the AFL is done. Footy is obviously fully back. We actually have we've still got two floating.
It's 2/3 back, Jim.
Yeah,
it's 2/3 back.
We've got two floating fixtures still, I think, at the end of the season, don't we? 23 and 24 are still, I think, are a bit up in the air. But today, we're just going to wrap up round 16. It was a very interesting round. Some interesting games in there. We're going to wrap it all up. We've got our weekly awards. We've got some good nars. We're going to talk some Brownlow. A bit of Brownlow.
Oh, yeah.
And then we'll do our round 17 preview and picks. Spoiler alert, Jez is extending his lead at a rate of knots so far. But anyway, so the good thing is the AFL has also just gone and done themselves a bit of a mischief again, and it's just the recurring theme of this season. So we'll talk about that in a second. So without further ado, let's dig in. It's Footy without the bull. It's Footy Unfilterated. Right, Jez. I was hanging out on Friday night, watched a little bit of the footy, then was hanging out with the singer of that band, the co-host of NFL Australia, Gaz, watching 28 Days.
The one and only.
28 Days in Area 7 in St Kilda at the Prince Band Room.
Hell yeah.
I should have been handing out Footy Unfilterated like stickers and QR codes, because that is, I think, our demo. It was, or NFL
I guess I'll just note down to get onto that, because it sounds after the Scarfighter show, I reckon that was I should have been flying in there as well. So we'll have to get on that, Jim.
There was a lot of AFL, NFL, NBA hats, and like that's my people, right? Very very easy.
And mine, obviously.
And also when it comes to late 90s Australian punk pop, like that's also my people. So it all works. Had a great time, drank a million beers.
Hell yeah.
It was a sold out show, just screaming my lungs out, having a great time. So very, very
nice.
fun. But also it sort of came with, we'll get to this in a second. Gaz going, what time should we meet there? It's like Area 7's on at 8. So I don't know, like 7:30 or so. I'd gotten there pretty early. Anyway, he's like, I'll Uber down. He's like, who's playing the footy on Friday? I'm like, Hawthorn GWS. He's like, that'll be fine. There's no one going to that. And he was completely correct, which I'll get to in a second. So watched a bit of that, then went in and apparently didn't miss much. But anyway, righto, Jez. Before we start, just make sure you're kicking over the man of the mark. I mean, going back to your line, don't improve your angle. Oh, wait, no. Do something while you're kicking after the siren. But maybe don't. Because that's... I think that's where we're at now with the AFL Rules Committee at the moment with the kicking a goal after the siren, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
No one knows.
It's just make it up as you go. I don't even know what to say, Jim. Like, it's actually gone beyond. I'd love to say it's gone beyond a joke, but it's still just hilarious how incompetent they really are when it comes to everything.
So they backed the umpires after the Nick Watson debacle. And then this time, the umpires didn't allow the goal. They checked it. And were like, nah. But again, the AFL then came out and went, nah, that should have been a goal. So here we are.
Yeah,
it's
they've got to get this stuff right, because we can't have people like Gerard Whateley comparing it to tragic disasters like he did with the Ark and Chernobyl. Like, we can't have him, comparing this to this tsunami that wiped out a fair chunk of the world and killed a lot of people. Because I mean, if Gerard just needs to watch his blood pressure, because the way he carries on about these types of things, and getting heated, and him and Gary are going to be boom, 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 knocking heads, and it's a big hairy head, so there's a lot of padding there. But Gerard's nose is quite large and obviously blocked quite a bit. So we really need to start getting on top of this, because a lot of these guys in the media who are supposed to be telling us what's happened, they're really getting their knickers in a twist, and I really worry about their blood pressure and health, to be honest, Jim. It's becoming an epidemic, I think, of the middle-aged football commentator that's going to what do we have to do we have to wait for one of them to drop dead from a heart attack, Jim, before the AFL do something about this?
Won't somebody please think of the AFL media cognoscenti?
Well, I can hear Kane Corns' blood boiling right now. He doesn't even know we're talking about. He's just got a sixth sense in the back of his giant hollow noggin that is telling him, I think I need to be angry about something.
Is that part of the Kane Inferno or whatever it's called?
I don't know. Yeah.
Sure.
I don't know, but I think he just got hit by an arrow from Caro or something like that.
He should probably get that looked at, I reckon. The point being, this is actually, it's getting to a point, as you've just sort of loquaciously pointed out, it's actually a genuine problem. And Chris Fagan after the game was like, look, the AFL admitted they got it wrong. Do we get the 6 points? And like, these are the things you're like, it'll affect Logan Morris in the Coleman race. It'll affect even minusculely, but we have seen it come down to very, very minuscule amounts when it comes to the finals race, ladder positioning, and your percentage. A goal can make a bit of a difference sometimes here and there, right? And the fact, like, they need to 100%, I think they've put this weird onus on the umpires, as you broke down, I think it was the last week, that they're trying to do too much. Way too much. There's a very simple, like, look, it's a kick after the siren. Is the player taking any sort of unfair advantage, or is he legitimately, do you think he's playing on? Seriously? Like, if he's not essentially it's all broken down to the simple idea, right? If you're kicking over the man in the mark or in their general vicinity, like, we don't need the umpires to be geometry experts, but as long as you don't improve the angle to the goals, really, like, or get off your line, what are we doing? Like, the Logan Morris thing, as I'm watching that, I'm like, they're going to screw this up, aren't they? And as they're lining it up, and he's being really, 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 really sort of circumspect and very deliberate in everything he's doing, and they're like, oh, but yeah, he didn't get back to his line, I think. Like, the commentators were flummoxed. Everyone was flummoxed. He was flummoxed. And they're like, oh, yeah, but yeah, we screwed that up because he didn't improve it. He did kick it over the man on the mark. What are we doing here? Just let the umpires just chill. And just go, they know what they're doing for the most part, right? I mean,
there's
as much as
far too much grey.
It's just stupid to like be going, you guys need to be adjudicating this sort of stuff. Just let them, as they have done for 100+ years, figure out, was that playing on? Was that taking an unfair advantage? And if not, it's fine. And shut up and get out of it. Done. Right?
There's one word called discretion. And it's something that we obviously don't have in a lot of authority these days. Like, back in the day when we were kids and we got busted writing rude words on a wall with a texter and a copper found us, his discretion would be, well, he can go down the path of giving us, going through the official things, or he can give us a kick up the backside and make us go and clean it up. May or may not have happened to me, cannot confirm or deny. But nowadays, they have to go through the right channels because that's just how it is. Yep. What they don't have to do on an AFL field is do everything by the book. It's discretion, the umpire's discretion. Feel for the game is the biggest one, all right? If the umpires want respect from players, coaches, fans, that one probably may not ever happen. But if they want to get somewhere near it, they need to be allowed to have a feel for the game and use their discretion. Okay, yes, that might have been a technical non-goal, which obviously it wasn't. But Logan Morris, I don't think he was intending to play on. He had a shot. That's how he does it. When you see someone like Jack Higgins run 14 kilometres around in a circle and then kick, that's play on. I just think the Buddy Franklin rule, this one should be called, is that there should be a tolerance, and maybe not as much as, Buddy would start on the halfback flank on the left-hand side of the ground and kick it from the forward pocket on the right. And nobody ever said a word about that. But there has to be some sort of clear line with that, with the 30-second rule for taking a shot. And I hark back to the, Footy Unfilterated Cup where your mate Harry McNot-Quite-5, took 45 seconds for a shot that he didn't take. These things are so easy, and the AFL have set a precedent that they will change rules and make shit up as they go along. Why can't they do it to fix stuff that is actually broken instead of fixing the stuff that doesn't need touching?
Yeah. Well said. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. So here we are. The cool thing is, we'll forget about this one and there'll be a new one next week. But I think
this is a point where one of us has to declare that we'll never watch football again.
If we were Wayne Carey, that's it. It's like we're done. I'm never watching footy again, ever.
I'm never watching footy again, ever. And then he's at the next game live.
Mitch Brown should have worn a shirt. What are you talking about, Wayne Carey, idiot? This is the big problem with social media. It's given the dumbest people on the planet a really loud voice.
It really has.
There was another, on top of this as well, right? So Tom Morris came out talking about how there was a players' association group that came to the AFL and the rules committee, essentially basically seeking clarification on behalf of the players about the stand rule, which is predictably hilarious. Throughout the season, they bang on about it for the first, 6 to 8 rounds of the season, and then suddenly there's a little bit more wiggle room, and now we're just sort of hitting a point where it's all right, if you get pinged for it, you're an idiot. The changes to the ruck rules, which
are dumb.
They are kind of dumb. It's getting to, was it Brodie Grundy gave away 4 free kicks, I think, in the ruck alone on Friday.
Which was interesting because when early on, he was the one who was making the most of it, now it's flipped on its head to. Yeah. It's reinventing the wheel for the sake of reinventing the wheel. It's a rule that doesn't need to exist. There's no issue with a slight cross of the line. Again, come back to what I said before, discretion. You can tell when a player is trying to shepherd out another player.
100%.
Okay? You can tell. There doesn't need to be a rule to make sure that you can call it. If a player crosses the line, turns his back and tries to block the space, guess what? That's what he's doing. If he accidentally steps a half centimetre over the thing in trying to jump and contest the ball, he's not trying to take the other person's space. I'm a rather large ruckman and used a lot of my size and girth to take the space against the younger and more athletic ruckman, and it was an advantage to me. If I had to play in this day and age, because they do this at local level as well, I wouldn't be able to play ruck because they're taking away all I would do is turn my back and keep on the line, but they'd think I'm shepherding them out because I'm turning my back. So it's just, I still think we need to leave the ruckman. It doesn't matter who it is. Stop this nominating stuff is garbage. You don't need to nominate. Just throw the frigging ball up, umpire. If one player from Essendon goes up against one player from Carlton, guess what? That's all that has to happen.
Well,
if two players from Carlton happen to go up against that one, then you can blow a free kick. Now, as long as they don't hit each other high, I reckon just let them go. Have full ice hockey goon style and let them beat the crap out of each other.
I like it. I think that's been okay this year. They've just gotten on with it. They don't care about the nominating anymore. It's just like, you guys better be ready. Quick, I'm throwing it up, and off it goes, right? It's pretty...
Yeah. You still hear them yelling out for Essendon Ruckman, Essendon Ruckman.
They're just like letting you know, but it seems like they don't actually care that much. And the amount of times you'll actually see them throw it up and there's no one else there, you're like, that's fine. Keep it moving, keep it moving, keep it moving.
And that's helping the game flow, isn't it?
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
It was like stark how different it's been this year. It's not quite, the changes of baseball where it's sped the game up that much, but it's certainly moving a lot quicker and it doesn't bog down anywhere near as much as it did. So you've got the stand rule, the ruck rules, and last disposal. They've wanted to chat about these. They've got some feedback they've given them. And I think it should be pretty straightforward. It's like the stand rule, just don't, as you said, right? Don't be a dick. It's fine. Same with the ruck one. And last disposal, look, it shouldn't be if you
get rid of that review.
It's just like no reviews. The amount of times Carlton got penalised for that earlier this year, that was hilarious. It was stupid. It was just ridiculous. And they've never done it again since. And the amount of times you actually watch a game and you're like, oh, so we're not going to check that now. Okay, good. That's fine.
Yeah.
As long as that's what we're doing.
It's the randomness of the review that I think pisses everyone off because you have one game where they review absolutely every single one that is even borderline contentious, and in the next game they don't review any of them.
Yeah.
What I would hate to see is that this decides a grand final. That's when you actually start to lose viewers because you've got this awesome game. And let's be honest, the way the game is played, aside from these issues, is bloody awesome to watch. It's free-flowing, it's fast, probably a little bit too fast. But we seem to make all these rules to speed it up and then go, oh, hang on a minute, there's my foot, where's my gun? Yeah. Oh, slow down!
We're all trying to find the guy who did this, right?
Yeah. Insert Spider-Man meme here.
Verbal memes. Anyway, so there you go. That's the weekly whinge. I reckon that just should be the... That literally is
I think you might be right.
That's the segment. It's just the weekly whinge. Otherwise, we've got the buys. They're all done now, which is fun. So the ladder makes sense.
Thank God for that.
Which is good. It only took to around 16. Yeah. Great job, everybody. Well done.
I feel like we've had buys since every week since 2023. It's...
amazing for Supercoach.
I'll bet.
Essendon have a coaching selection panel, as I mentioned, which is made up of cooler heads and outside voice. Oh, no, it's just all Essendon, as you'd expect. So it's Andrew Welsh, Anthony DiPietro, Ted Richards, who's your governance committee chair, and DiPietro is the
Teddy Richards,
vice president. Tim Roberts, who's the CEO, and Caroline Monson, who's people and cultures executive. Awesome. So I don't know, how long does it take them to just write the name James Hird on a piece of paper and then just hand that over?
I actually heard an interesting report that he may have been sounded out for a director of football style position rather than the coaching gig. Now, the thing about reports is, Jim, you don't know whether to believe him because according to one senior journalist, Essendon were going to make contact with Matthew Lloyd.
Awesome.
How much that? And first he comes out and goes, I've got no interest in coaching. Why would they ask me? Tick. I love how I've noticed a little trend of people starting to call out these journos for clearly making stuff up.
Yep.
There was obviously the report with Zach Butters saying that he'd already told his teammates, and he was asked about it after the showdown on Saturday and said, well, I don't know where they got that from because it's completely wrong. And I'm like, yes, go. So I want to see, that's a side note to this. I want to see more of that. That'd be ace. Look, it's hard to say. Andrew Welsh, I think, is a little bit smarter than what he portrays, and I think he's playing this quite out like Dean Solomon will be the coach, and throwing a few little red herrings out. At least I'm hoping so. But it's hard to say. There's such a big, ridiculous push for James Hird to be the coach involved. I don't have an issue with him being involved. I do have an issue with him being the senior coach off, and I've said this before, I won't go into it too much, off so long out of the game as a senior coach. But him being involved, I could see probably would have better, as an Essendon person, as someone who's clearly very well business-minded, a better go at it if he wasn't the coach, but maybe was a director of football. So
yeah.
I would, look, I don't know. I think they just need to get it done, to be honest with you.
I think
they need to get it done, announce it ASAP, and let Dean Solomon do the day-to-day, and whoever's coming in next, let them start to go through the list and work out, start speaking to players and all that. I think the sooner they can get that, they're on the front foot then when it gets to the silly season. Because no one ever wants to sign with a club if they don't know who the coach is going to be, do they?
That's it. I think it's good optics, right? It's like, we've got him involved, but we're not doing the silly thing and making him the head coach again. So you
keeps everyone happy.
Yeah, you're placating the morons who are like, I only heard we'll save Essendon, and sort of like being smart about it, and that's probably the best way to go. Otherwise, my beloved Suns are a basket case, so that's pretty fun.
The old Fold Coast Suns.
A lot of Petrarca murmurs again emerging, which is very funny and extremely well
Hardwick
warranted.
to Essendon one was, I don't know if you saw that, but I had a little giggle when I saw that one.
No, I didn't, but that's awesome. So,
might have been a Tom Morris or Sam McClure special, but
love it. I did have the question, like, did the Blues and Suns like just piss in the same fountain at the front of the MCG or something, like in May, and Freaky Friday themselves? I don't know what's happened. It's crazy.
It could have been an electric fence. There's such a massive shift in the in the fortunes of the two.
He's just on Damien Hardwick's property, just pissing on a fence. Well, the Blues do have this chance. Do have a chance to do It's 2026. You don't have too many AFL firsts still floating around, but they do have the opportunity, if they were to win this week, to be the first team in AFL history to lose 7 straight, then win 7 straight in the same season, which is pretty crazy. So very fun. Anyway, I'll talk about the Blues again.
Well,
later.
I want to know if they're going to be the first to sack their coach and then win the flag in 1 year.
interim coach Josh Fraser. He's still interim when he wins the flag.
No, but I still don't think I'm right for the gig as he's holding the cup up.
Yeah, don't know if I'm the right guy for the job. Hey.
Yeah.
Showdown was a bit meh, and it was good because I don't think we copped as much of the "you should move it to the MCG" kind of vibe this week. And it's always weird how they sort of do that. It was awesome because it was a standalone showdown on a Saturday night. The big problem was the game itself sucked. So you're just like, well, that wasn't as good as I kind of hoped. Oh, well, Port were just absolutely incredibly good. The Crom were not. We'll talk about that in a second. Jamie Cripps retired, another injury setback. So
yeah, I saw that.
Eagles premiership player, bit of a sad one.
2025 leading goal kicker.
Crazy vibes. And what do we got? Tristan Cherry is he's been cleared to actually return after a little bit of his jaw procedure last week. Speaking of injuries, Amadi Party, not at the moment. 10 weeks at least on the sidelines with a partially torn Achilles.
Ouch.
Can slightly relate, but I didn't actually tear mine, and it, sidelined me for 10 years. Anyway.
Still got 7 or 8 to go.
Still rehabbing. But that sucks for Joel Amadi. It's very, very interesting. Like this is why you get a Charlie Curnow, and you go, we've got a bit of built-in redundancy with Logan McDonald and Charlie Curnow and all of our sort of big, tall dudes who can go back and clunk a few. And Charlie sort of turned a bit of a corner last few weeks, so see how he goes. But they also lost Sam Wicks 4 to 6 weeks to a hammy, sneakily important player for them. Tough one for Grew on GWS, partial or dislocation of his patella. Jesus. It's a tough one, so he's probably done for the season at the moment. No Nick Watson for this week as well. He came off halftime after kicking, what did he kick, like 3 goals already?
Three. I think there was 2 after the hamstring
sort of limping around.
Apparent strain, yeah. He
not
didn't
even really
look right, but then all of a sudden the ball came near him and he had the Jets on. So.
It was pretty funny watching a bit of that. I'm like, oh yeah. So he's not going to play this week. I think, are they in, I want to say they're in Tassie this week.
I think they are, yeah.
And so, yeah, may as well just not go down there and get it too cold. And
well, him and Sicily might as well stay home.
Just hanging out by a warm fire, drinking red wine instead.
Yeah, they're playing Melbourne at UTAS Stadium
Launceston
on Saturday afternoon. Yeah,
nice.
So that'll be interesting. It'll probably be 4 degrees and beautiful weather.
I don't know why we put Tassie games in the middle of June, but here we are. And still
playing in Ballarat in July.
I was there on Sunday. I'm just like, why? It is so cold here. What are we doing?
Yeah.
How did I grow up?
Saturday was beautiful. Sun was out, and then as soon as it went behind a cloud,
that was it.
It dropped from 15 degrees to about 2 degrees. But it was a cracking day. It was just freezing.
Same on Sunday. It was beautiful. Like, we're out in the backyard. When you're in the sun, you're like, this is not too bad. You step literally into the shadows, like, oh God, I need to go get my hoodie.
Yep.
No Zorko, no McCluggage for the Lions this week either. They're off for another week. A few other returnees, but you'll see that when they do teams. That's not our job here.
Yeah.
Let's wrap up some games very quickly. Brisbane, this was an awesome game. They were so good. 126 over Sydney 83. Very odd game. Chad Warner was absolutely unreal. Haney kept racking them up. And the Lions never looked threatened at all. Like, it was weird.
They just coasted.
Absolutely. Halfway through the second quarter, they just sort of went, we're good. Logan Morris, keep doing good stuff. Ashcroft, I do love the... it doesn't even matter which Ashcroft, but I feel like Levi is particularly more annoying than Wilbert.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's like very, like, you know, I've got the two squids. The younger one is substantially more yappy and talk backy than the bigger one. And I feel like we've got that with Levi here. It's crazy. You're just like, oh... If your brother wasn't
He's got a punchable face too, and it's probably because Big Brother is probably fairly protective, but he's he's one that you would like to see run through. Byron Pickett would be a very handy addition to any side playing them, put it that way.
I love it.
It'd be
I think
I know what you mean though. He's very he's very grating.
But this was a big win for the Lions. Like, it sort of just keeps them back on track, jumps them up into the they're now 5th on the ladder after all that. So they've won 3 on the trot with a bye in the middle of that and just putting good teams to the sword all of a sudden. Then they've got this awesome, awesome game this weekend against the Cats, which will be very, very fun. Swans, I mean, this is why we both went Brisbane, I think. It's just you get Errol Goulden back, but you sort of... You know, they lose the Marty Party. They've still got a bunch.
And he was always going to need a week or two to find his feet, and it showed. Like, he was all right. He wasn't awful by any stretch, but he also wasn't setting the world on fire. And like you said, aside from the two mentioned, Chad and Isaac, they the Lions just they had an even performance. They didn't have any massive standouts. One, I think Draper did a fair job over, not so much that he kept him quiet, but he sort of nullified him enough that he gave the advantage to Brisbane, which if you can get that sort of break even and even a slight advantage over Brodie Grundy, you're going a long way to having a win like they did. But he didn't get a lot of the footy. He broke even at the tap outs. He provided a presence around the ground, and when he went forward, Brodie Grundy actually had to play on him, which is I think that's one thing that a lot of teams don't do to Brodie Grundy. So I think Brisbane might have. They're definitely tracking in the right direction, especially for this time of year.
This is what they do.
It's I can't believe we were fooled by the slump, Jim.
Like I don't think we were ever fooled though. Like, I think we've been very cognizant of the very simple fact that this is what the Lions do, and as long as they're sort of there or thereabouts when it actually matters, they're terrifying. Like, they're not going to drop off the face of the planet. Like, they're still awesome.
Exactly.
And here we are. They're waxing Sydney. Friday, Hawthorn were waxing GWS, and then they let them back into the game in the second half. 96-82 in the end. They were smacked. Like, I left when I was watching it just before halftime. I'm like, oh, this is over. Like they're killing him. GDO is completely off the pace. What was it, like around 30 or 40, I think, when I went into the show. And I'm like, yep, don't have to worry about that one. And then came out and I'm like, oh, geez, they must have come flying back. And to a degree, they kind of did.
100% took the foot off the gas, the Hawks. And it wasn't lost on the commentary team that GWS is a team that can put 14 goals in a quarter onto a team, and I think they were kind of hoping for that. But Hawthorn, they did it early.
Yeah.
You know, they did the hard work early and just sort of coasted through in the second half. Again, there wasn't any massive standouts for them either. They sort of just did what they had to do and got the job done. So I think they're all carrying on about Sam Mitchell being peed off and all that sort of stuff. But I think he would have been happy enough to get out of there without any other major injuries than the Wizard.
Yeah.
So
it is always weird how like the Hawks, like you do look at like the stats and stuff and you're like, how do they never have like the majority of dudes in like the top 10 disposal getters and all that sort of stuff? And they sort of just never do. And you're like, it's just, they have such a egalitarian game plan, right? That it's kind of everybody pitching in and sort of everybody is super duper solid and there's not that many weak links. And
And I think that's how they've managed to navigate, because they've had some decent injuries. Like they've only just got Tom Barrass back. They've still got Gunston out. They're going to have Nick Watson out. They've had Will Day out for a while. So it's not like they haven't been sort of hit with the injury bug that everyone seems to get, but they've won the games they should have won. They've been in some of the games that they've lost. You know, like they were in a winning position against Freo. You know, they've obviously been upset a couple of times, but I think they're just sort of maybe sliding under the radar a little bit, Jim.
Yeah, it's interesting. They are. Good on them. Saturday, took the squid to this one. Carlton West Coast, 117-64. It was getting a little bit hairy there for a little bit. The third quarter wasn't exactly banner football, and then the Blues blew the absolute doors off him in the fourth, kicking like 5 goals at a very rapid pace, and especially down the stretch, it was just like bang, bang, boom. The biggest thing in this game, like Harry was awesome. Harry McFive. He only got to Harry McThree, unfortunately. I had actually, jumped on with you, backed him to kick 5. Was feeling very good when he booted one very early, and I'm like, look out, here we go. This could be on for young and old. Then he missed one around the corner, and he just didn't touch it again for like another quarter. And then by the time he got that, the entire turning point of this game was his third quarter goal, I want to say. Yes. Towards the back end of the third quarter, basically an amazing turnover chain. Had been in like the West Coast forward 50 for it felt like 5 minutes. And they'd managed just to get a turnover and then a quick chain of handballs. And this is Josh Fraser ball out of nowhere, right? Like the speed with which they play now versus the way they were under Voss and those turnover chains where they can actually hurt you. It was incredible. It was like bang, bang. It was 2 kicks. And then Harry had a paddock in front of him, runs onto it. That was exactly like directly in front of where we were on level 1. And when he bounced it, you're like, oh, jeez. But then he managed, it's a perfect bounce. It was fine. And runs into an open goal and puts it into the second level. And you're like, I think we're going to be right now. And they were from there, right? I think they kicked Francisco Evans could have iced the game off his own boot at the back end of the third quarter, kicked 2 points back to back. We were just like, can we just put him away? I just don't want to have to stress about this. And then by the time Harry kicked his third at the start of the fourth, it was pretty much all over Red Rover because they were sort of up by more than just about the amount of goals that West Coast had probably kicked. But the point being, this was in a bit of contention early. Like West Coast aren't as bad as they have been in years past. Harley Reid, you had the 2 9s going against each other, which was awesome. Cripps and Harley Reid. They were basically just trading don't argues at different points, which was pretty fun. Cripps loved getting into his face about it. Cripps takes the points, I think. But Harley Reid was still really good. The goal that he kicked was absolutely like straight out of the guts, just bang, bang, just from outside 50. You're like, oh, God. But so much of this like really relied on like a couple of like wasteful turnovers, a couple of misses. They couldn't take a mark inside 50 mostly for the West Coast Eagles. to the point where I don't know if they had one until the fourth quarter. You're just like, Jesus. Harry Dean and
that's crazy.
Harry Dean and his fist were remarkable. So that was pretty good. And Taylor Byrne, I think he lined up a shot. I made an old lady laugh, Jess. This was probably the highlight of my weekend. I'm sitting there with the oldest squid, and Taylor Byrne had a kick. It's a nice little mark. They'd sort of centered it, got it to him. I think he'd already kicked one, and you're like, all right, this is good. Lining it up. He's the little fella. And I'm like, geez, I don't know if his tiny little legs can kick it that far. And the old lady next to me just absolutely lost it. And I'm like, yeah, I've still got it. Still got it. Yeah, can impress the ladies.
Oh, look. So just check the website for a list of dates that Jim will be at the local nursing home doing his stand-up routine.
Carving it up. I'll just talk about, Val Petrovic and Alex Cheselenko. It'll be awesome. Anyway, so yeah, by the time they
couple of jokes about the black box in an aeroplane and how they should make the whole
aeroplane out of it. What are we doing? Anyway, he kicked that goal, and it was absolutely awesome. It brought the house down. But yeah, there was sort of other moments with Taylor Byrne kicking those goals. I think he ended up with 3 and was awesome. And then Jagger Smith kicks a goal, basically bangs on the boot. The siren sounds as it's in the air. The place goes absolutely wild. So a very fun day.
3 goals for young Byrne.
Very fun day to take the squid.
Can confirm that there was only 4 marks inside 50 for the entire game for the West Coast Eagles.
That is actually
as opposed to 20 for the Carlton Football Club, as I know you love for them to be called.
I love it when we call them football clubs. It's just nothing. Yes. Nothing sends me into a happier place than. Is it a football?
The other
club,
one, the one thing I think that has been a big factor in your resurgence, Jim, is Sammy Walsh and his efficiency. I've noticed over the last few weeks in particular, it's been above 90%, which for him is ridiculous because he's normally hovering around the 60, 70%, and turnovers have been his thing. He's been really low down on the turnovers. So it's whatever he's done, obviously done something to change the way he goes about it, and it's paying off.
Yeah, they scored 44 points from defensive 50 chains in that game, which is pretty massive, obviously. But I think,
awesome.
More to the point about like what's changed. It's like Blakers has gotten back and gotten back up to speed very quickly. Chera, I think I still could probably beat Adam Chera in a foot race, but his usage on the wing specifically has been really, really good. But most importantly, I think the very simple idea, like Nick Newman came back into this team and they've been awesome ever since, right? There's just like that steadying presence. They've lost Weeders. Harry Dean has been absolutely unreal, who I'll talk about later. But Nick Newman, unreal. Collingwood, 106, Richmond, 72. Sure. Good job, Pies.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, it was the
what they had to do.
Dacos DeGoey show again, right? And just did the damn thing. I mean, the biggest story to come out of this is Lockie Schultz versus Dan McStay, wasn't it? And you're like, nothing like a good punch on between teammates, or at least just a bit of a hissy fit between teammates, which is always just as good, if you ask me. And the Tigers, I mean, questions are sort of starting to be asked about, like, it's been a long time, this rebuild, and it's sort of getting to a point you're like, all right, what do they have? And like Sam Lawler being sort of out the entire time is a bit of a real kick in the guts. And like Sam Cumming looks good.
What they do have
it's just
is a massive injury list.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. It's like it's so hard to
that's a reality. They've got a massive injury list. So even though they're playing kids, they're not playing their preferred kids.
Yeah.
Like you look at some of the names that have been regulars over the last year or two are out for the season, like as you said, Sam Lawler, Gibcus, who was the other one? Jonty Fall. You know, these are all guys that they've obviously got pinned for key positions and as the core of their thing. They're not even playing. Yeah. So they're literally pulling guys out of the stands. I only didn't get a game because I forgot to take my boots. But that's where they're at. So I think this year that you can just go, if they get a couple of wins, which they've got a couple of wins, they'll probably pinch one more. I reckon they'll pinch one more before the season's out because they're competitive, Jim. Like Collingwood should have belted them by probably 10 goals. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
But they stay in games for 2-3 quarters, and all their margins, aside from a couple of massive blowouts, have been around that 30, 40 points, which I think it's a bit of an overreaction for all the carry on about how their rebuild's taking it. Like, they just won 3 flags not long ago.
Yeah.
And their fans can't even turn up to a game.
Yeah,
it's pathetic, to be honest.
It is tough. I think that's also the
just
injury.
deal with it.
That's the injury stuff though as well, right? Like when you're sort of
100%.
bereft of like that sort of those shining little lights that you want to go see and sort of watch as they build into their AFL careers and whatnot. Yeah, it's sort of hard to sort of go, we're going to be watching dudes who should be in the VFL. It's real hard. Showdown, as mentioned, Port Adelaide, 97, Crom, 71, WTF. This was everyone except for Darcy Fogarty forgot to show up for this game. Rankin didn't do much. Rochelle was absolutely lost at times. And Port ran rings around and Butters was off his head. Hornet was really, really good. Even, like, they should have won this by way more as well. Georgiades sprayed 4, I think, off the side of his boot at different times. And they also had the great Mitch Georgiades sprint off in this game, which was absolutely unreal, where he had basically chasing down, like, the backwards kick and, like, just putting all that pressure on. And that's why the Power won this game. Like, Ken Hinkley's in the commentary box just going, where the hell was this when I was oh, man. Jeez. Yeah. But anyway, Adelaide absolutely no-showed. And this is, I mean, they did bang on about it in the commentary as well about this all game. It's like, this is a big game for both teams. Obviously, it's the Showdown. We get it. Port's season's still alive. Yes, barely it is. But this is big for Adelaide, like in terms of finals positioning and with like what are we up to, round 17? What's that, 7-8 rounds left? There's not much room for, not much margin for error at this point for the Crom. And for them to no-show that game was really, really brutal.
And I think for Port, it changed my opinion of them a bit. I've been saying all year they're garbage. I think they're a little bit better than garbage. Maybe they're rubbish. But I think they could have been a good side this year and probably better than where they are. And maybe those close games, it's finally come together for them, because I think, you know, you sort of have these results where you say it was more that Adelaide shit the bed rather than Port Adelaide. But this was more that Port Adelaide actually shut them down and outworked them and did everything you need to do to win games of footy and, you know, against good sides. I would be saying the same thing. Where's this been for Port Adelaide? Like, obviously, you get what you get from Zach Butters. He's an absolute superstar, and you know he sort of put the team on his shoulders, and they all sort of went with him. But for Adelaide, it's like you can't afford to have these. You sort of had enough of these kind of games. You need to start actually keep staying in games like this and winning them, or at least, you know, not letting teams shut you down, especially teams that are sitting 6 positions below you on the ladder. Like, I think last week we spoke and said that this corresponding Showdown last year was a massive win to the Crows.
Yeah.
And we thought that could happen, and it was probably the most likely scenario. What's happened here is probably the least likely outcome that I think a lot of people, I don't think anyone in the tipping comps I'm in, Jim, picked Port Adelaide. Yeah. Not one person. I think I'm in 2 or 3, and I didn't see the Port Adelaide logo for any of them.
It's crazy. Like, if they had won, they would have been clear in 4th by themselves. By themselves. Instead, they're tied on 9 wins with everyone 4 through 9. So you put yourself.
So they
back
lose
in the
this week, and they can be as low as 9th, maybe even 10th, depending on what's happening behind them.
Tough one. Can't believe you don't show up for a Showdown. Sunday we had North 79, Essendon 65. This game was so bad. I was like watching this at my beloved grandmother's house. It's her birthday today. So happy birthday, Mary.
Happy birthday, Mary.
Big fan of Footy Unfilterated, no doubt. We are huge with the 95 plus audience. Ironically, the other Mary on the other side of my family, my wife, old mate, her grandma, her birthday's today as well, 99. We are crushing this 95-plus demo. I'm just saying. And she's a big...
And they're both named Mary.
Both named Mary, both June 30.
That is...
remarkable, isn't it?
Both end of financial year babies.
Yep.
Look out.
EFS hit pretty early on. We were watching this game, and I'm just
Happy birthday, Marys. Happy birthday.
I was just so angry having, like, why is this game on? Like, this is just atrocious. Did you end up going to this?
No, I thought better of it. Look, it was pretty ordinary. I was actually out in the yard tidying up and kind of lost track of time, so I switched it on about halfway through the second quarter, and we were actually up, and I'm like, oh no. And sure enough, by halftime we were down. But look, North should have won this game by a lot more.
So
well,
crazy.
they ended up kicking, like, I think at one stage I vaguely remember them being 9 goals 14, and it was like their 5th behind in a row. But 10 goals 19 they ended up on.
10-19 is
like,
just...
They had so many opportunities to just put the smack down on a team that deserves it, but they just couldn't. One positive I did see, and they carried on a bit about it on the coverage, is it looked like Essendon were actually trying to move the ball slowly out of the back line. Now, for those of you who have been following along the whole time, you would have heard several rants from moi about our ball movement out of the back line. And for me, this is a good sign. We didn't do it very well, mind you. Our defending was horrible, but at least they actually got a plan and they're trying to stick to it. So that said to me, well, maybe they aren't as dumb as what I think they are. Or maybe Brad Scott and Michael Voss were sharing notes. Who knows? But I for one, and it might be the unpopular opinion of the day, Jim, but I actually was happy to see that we were trying something. Might not have worked. It might not have been the right thing to do as far as David King and all these knobhead mates think. But I for one, was glad to see that we were trying something.
I like that.
That's about it. We were trying something, but yeah,
this works.
Really,
hey, look, it works for me because.
Now look at me, please. Look at me. Look at me. Look at me.
Look at me. Look at me. They tried. Good on them. That's all you can ask sometimes, isn't it?
A for effort, Jim. A for effort.
The Roos. That's their first 3-game winning streak since 2019. That is.
Yeah.
It's a bit rough. Now, another team that didn't show up. North, look, I still believe they'll be fine. They're obviously right there in contention for a wildcard spot, etc. So to win these games, that's all you can ask. You'd rather see them do it a bit nicer, a bit better, but they keep winning some of these, so that's good. A team that is not doing that, my beloved Suns, 80-29. They got absolutely whomped over in the West. This game was gross. I was excited because I'm like getting home from California. You're like, all right, now I can watch the footy, and the game is probably not going to be as bad as that one I just watched a bunch of at my grandma's house. And then it was the Suns and the Dockers, and I'm like, this is... If I make the Squids watch this, it feels like child abuse. So what are we doing? Let's not do this. But I did want to point out, Jez, this doesn't happen very often here on Footy Unfilterated. But what did the Suns kick? Oh, yeah! Woo! Chill! That's right, they kicked 311. You beauty! That's right, we have not been able to do that on Footy Unfilterated because no one else has been that inept all year. We've actually, I think we've had like periods where teams have been on 311, but they haven't finished the bloody game on a meager 29 points. The Suns looked completely out of sorts. They got absolutely curb stomped by the Dockers. Now, our power rankings go up usually Thursday, Fridays each week. They engender some sort of debate. And a lot of people take a few problems with the Freo love that goes on in these power rankings. Because I do feel like some of the humour goes over some heads, Jez. But I'm not here to point out that or, really
I'm not sure what you mean, Jim.
point any fingers, but but my God, they might not lose again, which I'll get to in a second. They were awesome. They were absolutely everywhere. Between Tracy, you had a miss, Amos, whatever you want to say. I had to explain the prancing pony to the squid. He's like, why is he the pony and why is the unicorn kicking to the pony? And I'm like, well, we don't have...
Even though they're Dockers, they're very equine orientated.
Yeah, we don't have great nicknames. And like Luke Jackson, the unicorn, it's like... I think it was Willem Dersma was compared to Wemby last week by the Western Australian. It's like Luke Jackson is right there. What are we doing? He's like, if you want to find... Dersma was fine on Saturday when he played against my beloved Blues.
Yeah.
But Luke Jackson was, again, unreal. Carved them up. And the Dockers are an unstoppable force of purple power. So, kind of loved it.
That just shows how much the Western Australian media hate the Dockers.
Oh, yeah. They really do.
They are so far up West Coast proverbial that they hate them. And that's what's going to make it so much better when the Dockers don't lose another game, is because they're going to be like, oh, we have to say something nice about them.
About those scum.
Somebody Google nice things about the Dockers.
Right. All right, let's quickly do some awards from the week.
Let's do it.
Gablet area is the best on ground of the week Zach Butters for me. He just dominated that showdown. It was crazy how good he was. 37 disposals, 23 contested possessions, 13 clearances, 11 inside 50s, 700 metres gained, 9 score involvements, and a partridge in a pear tree. Like, it was absolutely ridiculous how good he was. And they sort of like, the commentators cotton on like halfway through. They're like, hang on, he's absolutely dominating. And it's like, yes, he is. Have you not been watching this game? What is happening? It was pretty wild. So
I'm certain they don't watch games sometimes, especially Dwayne Russell. I'm pretty sure he's just sitting there just blah, 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 and then they go, oh, we'll just put the screen in front of him so it looks like he's watching the game. The other thing that he did that tips him over the line for 100% in the voting here is calling out a journo for making stuff up.
Love that.
I loved it, and more. I want to see more of it.
Well, I think it was especially jarring. Like, Jordan Dawson wasn't being able to do too much, and Butters was running absolutely rampant. Like, it was one of those awesome games. Like, Dacos was a little bit like this against the Tigers, but that's the Tigers, right? This is power up against Adelaide in a showdown, and Butters,
an actual good team.
He like just grabbed the game by the scruff of its neck, ran rampant, did everything, and was absolutely unreal.
Yeah.
Honourable mention has to go to Chad Warner. I literally messaged you after his like snapping ankles goal and just went, what the hell was that?
That was out of control. It was so good.
It was such a good goal. And I can't believe, again, the commentary should have been falling over themselves about how unbelievable it was. And they sort of downplayed it. I'm like, that was unreal. He's just run like 40 metres, like dropped 3 blokes, snapped one dude in half and slotted a goal from like 35 out. It was absolutely amazing. He ended up with 4 goals, 28 touches, unreal game in the losing effort for the Swans. But he has been absolutely amazing basically since the exact moment that I went, in my Supercoach team, I'm not going to go with my heart. I'll go with the stats. I love me my Chad Chudley-Warner. He's like my go-to beloved. Like, you want a prancing pony, it's my Chad Chudley-Warner. I went with Took Miller instead. And the moment that Took Miller hit my team, he has been horrible. And since that moment, Chad Warner did the Jordan went, and I took that personally, and has been absolutely carving it up, clearly because I didn't put him on my team. So, well played, Chad. How about you there, Jez? Who is your best on ground of the week?
Well, look, he does it every week, and I'm going to give him a special mention for his 37 and 3 goals with Nick Dacos. But it's almost, I want to see more, which is pretty harsh because what more can he do? He is like, I have to take away the fact that he plays for Collingwood and his last name's Dacos, which is, as an Essendon supporter, I love him. I reckon he's great. I don't get, and I do get the hate that goes his way. It's because of who he is and who he plays for. But there's not much he does wrong.
Yep.
And I think that's what people hate the most about him.
100%.
But I actually love watching him play. Like the game that you and I went to, he was just seeing him live is so much better because he's just, you can see the work rate and all the stuff that the cameras don't pick up.
Yep.
So he gets a special mention for that one. But I've got a double this week, and it was a couple of the Roo boys against my beloved Bombers. But the Harry Sheasel had 43 disposals, 15 score involvements at 90% efficiency with just one turnover. And Caleb Daniel, 40 possessions for the second week in a row at 97% efficiency.
Damn. He's been
so
real good
whilst
the last
their
week,
scoreboard efficiency was horrible, these two, it's almost like the old and the young, the master and the apprentice, are absolutely putting on clinics. And if they keep doing that, it's going to be a massive benefit for North. So, yeah, those two can have they can share the spoils, Jim.
I like it. I'm going to buy. Who am I buying a beer this week? Patrick Cripps was just really, really, really solid in that game against the Eagles. But there was like two different moments in this game where Drew, like, just two tackles like right in front of us. We were like, oh, Jesus, he hit that dude hard. And then he snapped a goal around the corner in front of us, like off to the angle where we were as well. And that was like an absolutely perfect settling goal. I think did he end up with 2 for the match? Maybe it was, but he was really, really, really good in a game.
I think he did. I think he kicked 2.
I think there was the set shot that everyone was like stunned that he kicked it, and he just like, I don't know. But it was awesome, and he was fantastic. And I think the cool thing about it was like he sort of he didn't control the game in like the way that he has in the past, but he made his presence felt. And like the way that he went up against Harley Reid, you're just sort of going, ooh, that was awesome. You want to talk about master and apprentice? That's exactly what it felt like. This is like, last we met, I was a student. Now I am the master kind of vibes. And Harley Reid was like having a go at him, and Crip put him in the dirt, and it was just one of the most insanely excellent things you'll ever see. So, very fun.
Probably one of the few that can actually do that.
Exactly. He's like one of the only dudes out there that's actually bigger than him. So, yeah, it was pretty crazy.
I did hear Crip saying after the game that he really enjoyed playing against him, and I thought that's why, because he's showing the young buck a few tricks.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was a really good game. I really, really enjoyed it. But like, it wouldn't be a gablet area, but you'll buy him a tin after it and just go, that was hella.
Yeah.
That was awesome, Cripper. Like, you've got, the Squid's got his badge of Cripps on the Carlton hat, and it's like, that's why you've got that badge. I love that. So good on you. How about you, Jess?
Yeah. I'm going to go with Michael Frederick from the Flagmantle Dockers. He kicked 3 goals in the first quarter, and which, as it turned out, he ended up with 4 for the match. So he beat the Gold Coast Suns pretty much on his own. I think Michael Frederick's one of those ultimate role players. He pops up from time to time with a game like that where he kicks 4 goals out of 10 on a wet day. And he didn't have much of the footy. The ultimate sort of plug and, gap filler kind of player. You always seem to see him when they're under a bit of defensive pressure, taking the intercept mark or the spoil, or you can sort of put him wherever, and he just fills a hole. Does see a need, fill a need kind of thing. And I think he's been one of those. And all the good teams of the last of all time, Jim, have got these type of players that they don't need to be the superstar, but when it's their turn, they pop up and do what they got to do. So I think Michael Frederick is probably underrated, and certainly he'd be highly valued by the Fremantle Football Club, Jim.
Yeah. I think they brought that up on the broadcast as well. Like, he kicked his 3 goals all from set shots as well.
Yeah.
And they're basically like throwing that in contrast, and like kicked all 3 of them versus like the rest of like Tracy and Amiss and everybody.
When you combine the scores from the two teams, it was 14 goals, 25 kicked for the game.
Rough.
Rough. Yeah, average. Very average.
All right, quick extra bonus spot in award for this week.
Oh, mate, no, mate.
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 Who's got no mates today? Lockie Schultz. That was weird. and very funny. Like the Dan McStay stuff, like Dan McStay is going, I'm going to put my fist through your head if you don't stop talking to me. It's like, this doesn't happen that often between teammates that you see on
the ground,
on an AFL professional level game. It was awesome. So, yeah, Lockie Schultz, he's got that look about him of being the world's most annoying guy as well. It feels like he'd show you pictures on his phone of stuff you do not want to see. Like he's got that vibe to him, right? He's that kind
one
of
of those guys who sends you those emails that you need to delete straight away.
Yep.
I'm going to flip this one and go Dan McStay.
I like
because if you're gonna cut up rough at your teammate who ends up with 4 goals and has a pretty good game, you probably want to do more than taking 3 marks and only just kicking a goal yourself.
Yep.
With 80% time on ground, Dan. So maybe just have a look in the mirror before you start.
Yep.
But both of them can go and sit in a corner each and.
Yep, it tracks.
Be on timeout.
The Ben Mackay Spud of the Week, I'll give this to the J Train. I love my Jake Waterman. He was absolutely sight unseen in that Eagles game to the point where I'm like, he is playing, right? And then quite literally didn't do anything until the very end of the game where they were essentially dead in the water. I do love, I think he either got a free or took one of their 4 forward 50 marks at the very end. I think it was a mark, right? Because I think Harry Dean had basically just undercut it and Waterman was out the back. And he goes back, goes around the corner and misses it. And I'm like, has he touched the ball? Like, what the, we were up in one of the forward pockets and I'm like looking for him all game. I'm like, he's 2, right? He's number 2. I know this. Did not do much at all. And I love me the J Train. Broke my heart. But I was also happy because I'm like, he's a man who could kick 6 goals on Harry Dean, and we just like put
and win the game, and
we put the Harry Dean stuff to bed out of nowhere. And you're like, oh god! But he got towed up by the man who's going to pop up again for me. So, how about you there?
Well, the other, just a quick note there. He was that bad on Saturday that when the notification came through that a West Coast Eagle Premiership player had retired, and I saw 2025 leading goal kicker, I thought, oh really? I thought he'd be going on. That's. I didn't think it was Jamie Cripps, but yeah. So look, I have a couple. I probably could have split these, but Josh Rochelle for me, he did kick a goal, but he didn't see a lot of the. I think he had 9 disposals, which for a guy who carries on a fair bit when he is up and about, it wasn't his. It wasn't a game that he'll want to remember for any time soon. And the fact that they got beaten so comprehensively and that he had no impact on the game says a bit. And the other one is he plays for your beloved Fold Coast Suns right now, but I feel he might be on your beloved Carlton Blues next year for a fair bit less than what maybe he would have been this time last week. But Bailey Humphrey did absolute sweet FA, Jim. He was basically should have just stayed home.
Yeah, I think the Bombers can have him and my beloved grown up.
We've already got a key forward in the VFL, so he'll fit in well next to Harry McFly, I think.
Ben Ainsworth.
We'll have Jim Bolter.
What else? Ben Ainsworth sort of, off the scrap heat from the Suns. He was really, really good in that game as well for the Blues against the Eagles. He's had a nice, quiet resurgence the last, sort of 4 or 5 weeks as well. Again, under Josh Fraser. He and Will Hayward being used properly, who would have thunk it? Better than Bootsma! Harry Dean again. If you ask me, and no one did.
Back to back.
He is amazing. An amazing experience. So having seen him in person, what's that now, 4 times, I want to say? First time I've actually watched him without Weeders out there in person. It didn't matter. And now I'm just excited for Weeders to get back because Harry Dean might have needed these sort of 3-4 weeks of just having to have the responsibility of being the dude who has to shut down the guy on the other team. And he has done it each time. It's been remarkable how good he's been. And I do love that he's already turned into a cult hero with the Blues fans. And so he should. He was always going to.
He was always going to be the son of a club legend. So
I think the worst part behind me and the Squid were a couple of old blokes. One was an Eagles fan, one was a Blues fan. they're chatting away, and it's like, as old blokes do, they know everything about everything. He's like, oh, who's 35? Oh, he's really, really bloody good. That was the Blues fan old bloke. I'm like, how do you not know who Harry Dean is? Why are you here? How could you be at a Carlton game and not know who Harry Dean is after this season? He was absolutely amazing.
It must have been a day trip from the home gym.
It kind of sounded like it a lot of the time, actually. But anyway, Harry Dean, absolutely amazing gear. He was so good. So every time, the only time he got beaten was literally just misjudging where the ball was going to go, and with his giant lanky arms, threw them up. And it just sailed over his fingertips into basically Jake Waterman's chest. So, bit of a tough one. But other than that, and then Waterman still missed the goal anyway. So, how about you, Jez?
Look, it was aside from that, it was a pretty lean weekend. And when you've got a team that's basically full of youngsters, I've picked Sam Cumming out of the Tigers. The other one, there's a couple of others that I could go with. Reshko is another one who's been pretty good for the Tigers since coming into the side, but I think Sam Cumming was easily their best, which is pretty good considering he's stop-start a bit with injuries earlier in the year. Looks like he's probably going to be one of their mainstays for a long time. Special mention though to my boy Nate Caddy for taking an absolute screamer. He's been quiet the last probably 4 or 5 weeks, but a lot of that's been the fact that we can't get the ball to him in any kind of decent way. So it makes it hard when you're a lead up forward if they can't kick it to you. That's right. So he had to take matters into his own hand and jump on someone's head, which was bloody awesome. So he gets a special mention from me. So please don't go to Tassie. Please.
Some quick yeah-nahs. Are the Suns the most disappointing team of this season so far, Jez? Yeah, nah.
Oh, I'd have to say almost, yeah.
7 and 8 ahead of St Kilda, who are 6 and 9, but just
which should be second place, to be honest.
Beset by injuries.
Yeah.
GWS is 6 and 9 as well. They've sort of had a few injuries here and there as well, but it just sort of feels like they've just gone a bit meh. Whereas the Suns, the way they started the season, where you're like, this is awesome. They're going to be unbeatable. Oh, and then they just tailspin.
And coming off such a big year last year where everything looked like they were heading in the upwards direction quickly, and then they made all the moves they made in the off-season. And as I've mentioned last week, I think that's probably what's hurt them now. It obviously helped them early when they were running, but now that they've had injuries and form drops, those sort of role players that they've traded out to get all the big fish in are the ones that would be filling the gaps where they need them now. And so I would say that the 3 teams we just mentioned were probably the top 3, but yeah, you'd have to go with the Suns at the moment, wouldn't you?
Yep. I've written this quite literally. Hang on. Did I already call this? Because will Freo actually not lose again, Jez? Yeah, nah. Round 17 GWS in Canberra. Always a bit tricky, but still. Round 18, Sydney at home in Optus Stadium. Bring back Optus Oval, he says. Because you'd think
it's still there.
It is. It's just down the road. It's Icon Park. Round 19, Port Adelaide at Adelaide. West Coast in a derby, I think they call it, don't they? Again, obviously at Optus. Western Bulldogs at home, Optus Stadium. Melbourne at the G, round 22. Adelaide.
Saturday afternoon fixture.
That is an interesting one too. Adelaide, round 23, again though, at home at Optus Stadium. And then over here in round 24 for my beloved Blues at Marvel. At which point I'm like, hey, you guys should rest everybody. Because, maybe we might need to win this one. I'm just saying. But yeah.
Stranger things have happened, Jim.
They have. I think it's actually happened
now,
to Carlton. So.
If I say...
and I think it was against Freo. I think Freo did that. So
if I say nah, does that mean they're not going to lose again? Or
will they not lose again?
Wait. Yeah, nah.
Yeah,
okay.
They won't lose
I
again.
think they will. I think they will drop one, and I think it'll either be Melbourne at the G because it's a Saturday Arvo game at the G, or Carlton at Marvel not just because Carlton are going to win the flag, but because they'll have top spot and home finals sewn up well and truly by them, because I can't see them losing to the next 5. But I can see them getting done by Melbourne, and I can see them resting a whole heap of players. And because that'll give it, especially if they've got injury, if they haven't got an injury at the moment, Jim. They've got no injuries. They've got Sam Sturt, who is a test. That's their only player on the injury. It's ridiculous. But I can see them going, okay, well, XXX have got niggles. Let's put them aside for a week, because they're going to have that week. Then they're going to have the wild card week. So they're going to have 2 weeks to potentially freshen up a whole heap of players who are, maybe feeling it a bit. And the weather's getting better, all that sort of stuff. So I reckon they'll go for a freshen up. So that could be one of those 2 games. I could definitely see them dropping, and that could be why.
Yeah. I think, like the Sydney, like I talked about the round 18 Sydney clash a little while ago, right? And like how big that game was going to be. It's still a big one, but I think the way that Sydney have sort of been tracking with a bunch of their injuries, it's sort of a lot tougher to imagine them beating them over there at this point. So I'm still going to go with my prediction that they just don't lose again for the entire year, and they run rampant, and they're one of the greatest teams we've ever seen. Top 5 Brownlow at the moment. What do you reckon, Jez? We talked about this quickly last week, and I haven't looked at any odds. I didn't look at anything. I'm just like rattled this off the top of my head. I'm like, what have I watched this week? This year. Who do I think the top 5 are right now? I wrote down Nakos, Bont, Bailey Smith, Heaney, and Butters in that order. And I have no idea what the odds are, so I will.
I'm gonna have a quick squiz now while we're
I'll check that now,
chatting. But I'll tell you what, you've nailed the top 4 in order.
Not bad, good size.
So we've got Nicky D at 260. We've got the Bont at 6, Bailey Smith at 10, Isaac Heaney at 10, and then in number 5, and this is a yeah-no that I've thrown in there, is can the Unicorn win the Brownlow? And he's actually, Luke Jackson is the number 5 at $13. Then we've got Jordan Dawson and Zach Butters at $18 a pop. That's according to Sportsbet odds.
Jordan Dawson being in there doesn't surprise me, but I think he's had a couple of weird little, not as great ones. Like he was so good in that Geelong game, and then just off the boil a bit in this last. Anyway, to answer the can Luke Jackson win the Brownlow? If there was going to be another ruckman who did, it's probably him. So can he? Yes. Will he? Probably not. For the simple idea,
not this year.
Not this year. I think it's almost taking that they're so dominant, they're so good, and there's not too many other players on that team that are going to be stealing the 3 votes a lot of the time for when he's playing these really good games. I think that it's more the impact of his really good games. Like he's not putting up giant stat lines a lot of the time. They're like, what did he have? He had like a career high like 2 weeks ago.
It was 28 or something like that.
And he's impacting the game like at ground level, sort of doing all these little bits. And so when he is good, like there's probably not too many challenges for his 3 points, but I think it's hard to sort of pass out across how many have they won straight now? Is it 15? It's like absolutely absurd. And there's probably at least
14 straight.
14 straight.
Hang on. Because they haven't lost since round opening 1.
So I think there's probably at least 4 games in there, 4 or 5 where he's probably the best on ground.
14-1 they are, So they're 14 wins straight, which is remarkable.
Yeah, so I'd say he's probably got 3 best on grounds, and he's probably still like in the top 3 votes for a lot of them. So he's not a bad look for at least a top 5, but I don't know if he's going to win it because I think Dacos is probably just.
I can't see anyone. I think Nick Dacos will have votes in every game he played. Yep. He should have votes in every game, like regardless of whether the umpires look at the stats or not. The reality is that every game he's played in, he's either been best on ground for Collingwood, or at least in the top 2.
Yeah.
So I would almost go as far as saying he will get a vote in every game.
Yep. I think
I can't think of any games that they've been smashed in, though, where he wouldn't get a vote.
I think
That's
he'd
all.
be streets ahead at this point. So
Yeah.
he might have he might have already won it.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. Round 17. Preview. We start off with an absolute cracker as well down at Taxpayer Stadium as Geelong host Brisbane, and they're 14.5-point favourites. So Brisbane did beat the absolute bejesus out of the Cats there last year at this exact same time last year. It was like my birthday last year. And I remember seeing a bit of that and going, oh, that's pretty funny. And they killed him 92-51. Prior to that, they lost by 10 points in 2022. I don't really think that matters. 81-80 in 2021. So they don't mind throwing the Lions down there at GMHBA, but still, it's not exactly as though it's every year. 14.5 points. Can the Cats, coming off the bye, at home, Bailey Smith back, possibly Tom Stewart back as well from his concussion, a rampant Lions team. What do we reckon, Jez? 14.5.
I am going to take the Lions to cover
I
that.
think I am too.
For two reasons, because I think the Lions are heading rapidly in the upward direction, but also Geelong's record after the bye is not great. I think it's probably a bit better in recent years, but given where Brisbane are as far as the way they're playing, and given how Geelong were playing before the bye, and the injury issues that they've had, even if they get those players back, they're probably not so much Bailey Smith, but Tom Stewart, he's a TBC, so he is a very important cog there. But if Brisbane, and I know they will because Fagan's absolutely brilliant, they'll work out how to keep him quiet. And if they can do that, I think if of any player that a team relies on, Tom Stewart is probably relied on too much for Geelong, because you see what the impact is when he goes out. That takes him a week or two to get right, and even then they're not. But even if they have him in the team and they've set their game style around him, if teams work out a way to keep him quiet, it affects Geelong really quickly and they struggle to come back from it. So I reckon this one's going to be an absolute cracker, or Brisbane are going to smash him.
Yeah.
The fact that it's a GMHBA makes me think it's probably going to be a very close game.
Yeah, I agree. So I'm going to take the 14.5 as well. Like, this is the second grand final rematch already of the season as well, isn't it?
And Brisbane got smashed. Sorry, Geelong smashed him in the last one up in Brisbane. So
it was the Shaw Manor 5-goal game, wasn't it?
That was like 5 weeks ago.
It wasn't long ago at all.
It feels like it was last like 2 weeks.
That's so weird. Anyway, both go in Brisbane. Sydney hosts the Western Bulldogs on Friday. That's a fun one too. They're 19.5-point favourites. The Dogs also coming off the bye. The Swans, I mean, a valiant effort, I guess, at the Gabba, just not quite as good as the Lions. I kind of want to take the Dogs in this one as well, Jez, as an underdog at 19.5.
Yeah.
Like, I think they can probably...
I'm going to take the Dogs too, because I think Sydney will probably still win, but I think that the injuries, they've got to take a toll. They already are taking a toll, but I don't think they're going to be as rampant as they have been.
Yeah.
The big one will be is whether the Dogs can do what Brisbane did to Brodie Grundy. So if Tinglish can have a similar impact in that he either breaks even or gets a slight advantage over him, I think that'll be a massive key to this game. So, but I reckon the Dogs can probably keep it under that 9.5.
Yeah,
we'll go with that.
Charlie kicked 7 against them back in round 7, I think it was. And that was at Marvel. Now, this is obviously at the SCG. I just think the Dogs, they look really solid against the Saints. They get the week off to freshen up. Sydney, just a little bit walking wounded. As you said, I reckon the Swans can still win it, but I think the Dogs are right there with them. Should be a cracker for
Dogs
Friday.
are a good chance.
Then we're going to double header on the Friday night. So we've got West Coast Adelaide at, what's that? 8:10
Optus.
at Optus Stadium.
Yeah.
Eagles are 28.5-point underdogs against the Crom. I'm going to go the Crom with a bit of a big bounce back shellacking of the Eagles, flying all the way back west. And I think, the Crows settle into just a bit of a wampin.
See, this is a danger one because West Coast were okay and have been okay for the last few weeks, and Adelaide were ordinary. So everything says I should pick West Coast to cover, but Adelaide, after a horrible loss, are like they come out spitting venom, and I just don't think West Coast have got the defence to shut down Adelaide's forward line.
Yep.
So I'm going to go with Adelaide to smash them.
Yeah, there's a...
I reckon if Fogarty plays the same way, he might kick 10.
Yeah, it was 87-78 last year in August. Eagles, this is like, but when, the Crommers sort of turn the corner, were absolutely smashing teams, and Eagles are a little bit trickier at home. Like, get them at Adelaide Oval, and the Crom have just absolutely smoked them each time. But a little bit trickier. But I don't know. I feel like Adelaide just, put them to the sword. So you're taking the Crom as well? Yeah,
I'll take the Crom.
Saturday, down in Tassie, Hawthorn, Melbourne. Hawks are 14.5-point favourites in Lornie. That's a tricky one. 14.5 is annoying.
I just wonder how much the Wizard is going to impact the scoreline. I think I'm going to take the Hawks. I think the Hawks will win it, and I think it's just a crap line. Like if it was 10.5, I'd take the Demons, but if it was 20.5, I'd be all over the Hawks. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's I'm
going to take the D's. I think 14.
Sorry, I mean if it was 20.5, I'd be all over Melbourne. But 10.5, I'd be right in Hawthorn. But yeah, it's a bit of an odd one. But I'll go with the Hawks. I think that even if James Sicily gets a bit cold and grumpy, they'll probably be okay.
Have you ever seen a man wear two long sleeve tops on the on the ground at once?
There was boys when I was playing for Sebastopol in the Ballarat League that used to wear they used to get the garbage bags.
Amazing.
And they cut a hole in them, put them underneath their jumpers and run out there with the garbage bag underneath their jumpers.
That's
craziest thing I've ever seen.
That's Sebast for you.
Oh, yeah.
GWS hosting Freo. So this one's in Canberra, and they're 19.5-point underdogs at home, the Giants. I kind of want to take GWS. I think this is like one of those squirrely ones where the Giants didn't look too much chop this week down at the G against the Hawks. Sort of missing a few dudes here and there. Freo in Canberra, though, that's the sort of one thing that gives me a little bit of a pause. Having just talked up Freo about not losing, I think they probably still win. But 19.5 just feels like a few too many for me here, Jez.
You'd probably want the Hawthorn line for Fremantle here, wouldn't you? 14.5, it'd just about do it. I'm going to go with Fremantle. So I think Fremantle will. There's going to be a game where they actually kick straight. Like their kicking for goal is horrible. If this is the game, they could win by 8 goals quite easily. And I reckon that even if they don't kick straight, I reckon they'll probably still win by 4 or 5 goals. They'll set it up early and just coast. So I'm going to go with the Dockers. Fragmantle?
Sure.
Maybe cut that out, Jim.
That's all right. 89-69 last time they played in Canberra. Freo won. Interesting. I'll take GWS. Come on. I've got to find
You got to peg them back, Jim. You got to peg them back.
Pull a few back here. Gold Coast hosting the Pies. Somehow 8.5-point favourites. And I was so disappointed when I saw this line. I'm like, are you serial? I was hoping we'd get underdog Suns here, and I'd feel good about taking them. I'm still going to take my beloved Suns because I'm a sucker for punishment. But if they don't win this one, like the season,
they're done.
It's just like, put a cross in them there. It's all over. Like, what are we doing? 8.5 is annoying. It probably should be a lot shorter, I would say. I'd probably say this should be about 4.5 if you want to make the Suns favourites. 8.5 is annoying, but if they can do it, they should do it a little bit better than that. So let's go my beloved Suns. How about you, Jez?
Yeah, I'm going to go with your beloved Fold Coast Suns as well and hope that they don't fold because... am I though?
It's so bad, isn't it?
No, you know what? I'm going to go for Collingwood because I think the problem is, Jim, is if this is a close game, I can see Gold Coast doing exactly what our good man, our friend of the show, Dave Klitsch, has said and fold.
Yep.
if they're up by a ton at, like, let's say 6 goals plus at 3/4 time, well, you would like to think they wouldn't lose from there. But if Collingwood are within, let's say 3 goals, for example, I think they'll win it.
Yep.
So I'm going to go with Collingwood.
Like it. The Suns have won the last 2 games up there as well. They actually only play up there at the moment. They've only played the only time
they were a different team though when they won those 2 games. They had confidence
above the 27th parallel, undefeated. The last 4 times they've actually played the Pies and the Suns, it's been up there. Come on, Suns, give me something. Tigers Blues. Can Carlton win 7 on the trot? I think they can. It's going to be a painful watch, but 35.5. I think there's
Is this Saturday night, Jim?
This is Saturday night, so I think we've got the double header on Saturday again. I'll check what time that one is. Yeah,
because there's not enough time slots. We don't on the Saturday night because we've got 2 games.
Only 2 games on Sunday.
On Saturday afternoon. We've got a 1:15 and a 1:35 on Saturday, Arvo.
And only 2 games.
Because that's what everyone needs when they're out at local footy and doing other things during the day on a Saturday anyway.
So 7:35 at the G, Tigers home game, which must mean the Carlton game earlier this year was a Carlton home game. Didn't realise that. Anyway, 35.5 is this line. And I feel like it's a bit much for a Carlton team, but I think I never actually, I don't know if I mentioned it to you, but I did switch my pick to Carlton this week against the West Coast Eagles. If you check the graphic, I don't think I actually ran it by the Brains Trust at that point. I just chucked it on the graphic. I just remembered that.
I'm pretty sure I'm ahead, so
yeah, it doesn't matter.
Whatever.
I think that was the only one I got right this week, maybe. That was 32.5, and for a long time in that game, it felt, I don't know if they're going to get there, and then they obviously piled it on with those last 3 goals very late. I kind of think the Blues are playing with a little bit more confidence at the moment, so maybe I'll take them to cover the 35.5 against the Tigers. But as you pointed out, the Tigers aren't losing by giant amounts at the moment. So what do you reckon, Jez?
I'm going to take the Blue Flaggers to I think this one will be a big one. I think this will be a 70 plus. I think the Tigers have been competitive for 3 or 4 weeks, and they always seem to, and I'm going to do my research here, but they've been competitive since their bye, let's say, Jim, which was when?
Yeah, they were good against Brisbane, right?
25 to in an ordinary game against North. Yes, like you said, they were 35 to Brisbane. I think they had the bye the week before that, which they also lost to. And then just before the bye, they were belted by 114 points against Sydney. So
yeah,
I think they've been up for 3 weeks, and I think that it might be time to for their young, inexperienced team to probably lay down their sword to a rampant 2026 premiership team in Carlton.
I just hope they win this, and I think we go to Queensland, I want to say on Monday. It'd be really nice. It'd be really nice for them to send us off with a bit of a win here. So both taking the Blues. Essendon, 29.5-point underdogs against the Saints. That's a really interesting one on Sunday. Can the Bomb Rays keep it close against the Saints team that's lost Jack Sinclair, no TDK? It's a lot of Naz, Cal Wilkie, and I don't know. I think the Bombers can keep that one close, can't they? Maybe?
Yeah, I reckon we can. I reckon I'm going the Bombers to cover. I hate saying that if we're ever going to pinch one, this one's there for the taking, because so was the North Melbourne game. But it's as good a chance for us to win a game as any. St Kilda have a lot of injuries. They're not playing that well. And it could quite easily be like what I've predicted the Carlton game and be a 70, 80, 100-point thumping. But I reckon we're going to cover. I reckon we're going to run them all the way to the end.
Yeah,
so
I think
Bombers, Jim. Give me my Dons. I'll have a little bit of faith.
Yeah, I'll take the Dons.
I might even consider going to this one too.
It'd be fun. That's a couple of Marvel tenants going hammer and tongs.
You know, the best thing ever. I got quite a few St Kilda fans pretty angry with me one day.
No.
I went with my I went with a St Kilda supporter who got us tickets in the St Kilda supporters area. Now, I never was particularly fond of Stephen Mill. He did play reserves at Essendon, and I can't remember what he did. He did something, was having an ordinary game, and I, as I tend to do, got up and told him that I was glad Essendon got rid of him. Geez, the St Kilda supporters, they just turned the venom. I think I even got accused of calling him something to do with inappropriate behaviour towards females, which I did not say a word, but I had to explain. I said, mate, I actually just said I didn't like the way he played footy. And this particular bloke, he ended up getting up and leaving because of me. And I went, all power to you, brother. People were complaining about, I think someone said something to me about, what are you doing in the Saint supporters area? And I said, write a letter to Ticketek. So yeah, I was enjoying myself. I probably would have been a little bit different if Essendon weren't winning the game quite comfortably, but it was one of those seasons that St Kilda started off like a house on fire and then just went. Psh.
Oh,
yeah. So, but the best thing about St Kilda games is when they're losing, and not from a St Kilda supporter type, is that they just go home. Half time, 3/4 time, there's like a mass exodus at Marvel, and all of a sudden Southern Cross Station is full of St Kilda scarves that are, left on the ground. It's hilarious. Like no other team. They're just like, you know what? It's happened again. Let's go home, love.
I love that. Good on him.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh.
Nice.
So
Right.
yeah, so for shits and giggles, I might even go along and have a bit of a laugh if we do happen to keep it close or get up. So.
Cause some more havoc. Right, and then we have, to finish off the round, a full round, which is nice, Port Adelaide at home against the Roos, 14.5-point favourites at the Power all of a sudden. And I feel like this is more about North Melbourne being away from home than anything else?
And looking pretty ordinary against a pretty ordinary team. Yeah, I think it might. Well, when Port Adelaide play a game like that, Jim, how could you possibly pick against them with a line like that against North? Like, if they turn up and play the same way again, North don't stand a chance. So, they'll have the power of whatever they are, Army or they're a pretty vocal crowd when they want to be. And
also, I believe that the Roos haven't beaten anybody who's above 11th on the ladder this year as well, right? And so Port are firmly in the Roos' sights as like a team below them on the ladder. And I just think the problem might be them away, because you go back there. They played them in round one, but they were at Marvel. North then lost at Optus Stadium. They lost at Barossa at Gather Round. They lost at Manuka against GWS. They lost to Geelong at GMHBA. They lost to Adelaide at Adelaide Oval. Like, if you're detecting a theme here, it's because there is one.
And got belted there too.
Yep, and belted by Freo at Hands Oval at, what was that, Bunbury?
That was a home game though,
Home
Jim.
game, Bunbury. Killed. They did win that 1-point game against the Eagles at Optus Stadium the week after, which was another
home game.
And yeah, they did beat the Tigers at the G in round 15, but that's 2 weeks ago, and yeah,
not really an away game, is it?
So I don't know. This is a really interesting one, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm going to take the Power, because I think surely they can't go from being so good against a quality team who we thought were on their way up to being ordinary to the point where they get beaten by North at home. I can't see it. I don't. There's nothing that I saw in North Melbourne. One thing North do have that is in form is their defence.
Yep.
Their defence was what won them the game, and obviously, Harry Sheasel and Caleb Daniel having 80 million possessions. But I think, the North's defence is very solid. They've still got a few things to work out. I think it's forward of the ball that they break down a little bit. Their forward line is a bit hit and miss. And likewise, Port Adelaide, their defence was the driver for the win on Saturday. So they do have a bit more. If Mitch Georgiadis can actually kick straight, they could win by 10 goals. It could be over by half time. If Butters and the Hornet have another, couple of blinders, which if it's at home, Horn Francis is better at home than he is away. So, yeah, I think Port will win this easily, to be honest with you.
I'll pay that. I like it. You made a good argument. I'm going to take
Thank
the
you.
ruse. I'm taking the ruse. Can you make a coherent argument as to why, Jim? No, I can't, because we're an hour and a half into the show, and I'm just like, I feel like the 14 and a half is like the thing that sort of gets me. It could be, like, I feel like it might also, if they lose, it could be the opposite of like this week's win over Essendon, right? Where they Port sort of just limp to the win by like 14, and North still cover. I am very worried though, the North away from homes. Oh, I can't. Like the plus 14 and a half is just sticking with me though. So I think I'll take the plus for a team that keeps beating the teams below them on the ladder. I'll take that, and I'm not going to like it that much. So I think that leaves us with 4 different this week, which is kind of nice. So I'm either going to basically
interesting.
It's going to be the end of my run, or I'm back in it. I think, because I think you're up by about 4 or 5 now. I've got to get the final tally. I updated the tips before, but I didn't get the totals. So there you go. So Jez is in the beers at the moment. He's beer positive, which is good.
I'm a thirsty guy too, Jim. Very thirsty.
Slevo's Punters Club, best bet.
Slevo!
The best looking thing I'm going at for round, 17? Cozzy, 25 plus and 2 goals down in Tassie. Be interesting to see how he goes. I think against the Hawks, I think he's had like this bit of a roller coaster like the last 6 weeks. And I feel like we get a big Cozzy game out of nowhere and he goes whack. Flip side would be to also go with Nakos with another 30 and 2 up against the do no defense Suns at the moment. So yeah, I think you could even pair those up and I'd feel pretty good about it. So
you get a pretty healthy number for that, I think.
Yeah, I reckon. So the 2 goals for Cozzy as well is like the interesting one, but I think the way that if they're going to win, and I've tipped them obviously to at least keep that one close against the Hawks, he's going to be a really, really, really big part of it. So let's go Cozzy, and then Nakos 30 and 2 as well. You could even.
And how'd you go with last week's bet,
that was such a horrible game. So 174.5 with the North Essendon over. Not even close. They broke my heart.
I don't think you've hit one of those game overs yet.
I think I hit the first one, which was ironically Essendon North back in round 3. So
okay,
but I've missed Brisbane.
But
Essendon,
since then, I
Carlton,
think it's
Essendon. Yeah, it's like none of the team overs have hit. So it's been shocking, I'll tell you. Anyway, so there's a couple of good ones though. I did like I really enjoyed that North Essendon over this week. As I turned on the TV at Grandma's, I'm just like, come on, man.
It's not happening.
I'm like, this is brutal. So not happy.
Yeah.
Anyway, what's yours there, Jez?
I'm going to double up my last week one. So last week I had Harry McFive and Cripper for 25 and a goal. We got the 25 and a goal, but Harry kicked 3-1. I'm going to back that in again because I think that this week, surely he's going to kick a bag. And I reckon Cripps is a Monty for 25 and a goal playing against Richmond. I think he might even have that by half time. So
Harry,
this bet may pay out by half time.
I think Harry
as well.
Harry at the G as well is always like an interesting one because if he's on and he's on early, he can absolutely kick a bag against a bad team. So wouldn't surprise me. But the one
of which Richmond are a bad team.
That's right. I think the interesting one would be, I guess, for the Blues, like the sneaky ones that they keep sort of throwing out there is like the Mitch McGovern 2+. Just keep an eye on that one. So I think especially against the Tigers, I think he was really good in round 1, especially early. I think he kicked like 4 in that game. I think 3 of them were really early.
Not 2 goals, 15 like Tom Lynch.
Yeah. Anyway, he won us that game. It was amazing. There you go.
Good on you, Tom.
That's it.
That's it.
Unbelievable. We finally got there. Jeez.
Marathon. Jeepers.
Had a lot to talk about, I guess. Not really. It was just me rabbiting on about the Blues, which tracks. So that's it, though. Round 16 in the bag. Got a third of the season left. Makes you sad, sort of, but the finals now go for 2.5 years, so should be pretty okay, I reckon.
That's right.
Anyway, big weekend ahead. So I'll be up in Queensland next week for this show. So I'll try to sequester myself away in a room and jump on the old dog and bone with your man Jez and talk it all out. But you can still follow us on all the socials, etc. The power rankings are obviously a massive hit. Please, just
Be kind.
Be smart.
Be kind.
That's all I ask.
Yeah.
Just
Be kind.
Oh God, it's great. But anyway,
Love one another. Come on.
it's all great.
Too much negativity in the world, Jim.
I love the interaction, but Jesus, we are one of the smartest brains football podcasts in the world, obviously. So, anyway, make sure you also subscribe on your podcast apps, your YouTube, like, star, subscribe, all that sort of stuff. Jump in the comments, send us through any nahs, any DMs, just smash them through. We're always there, lurking, hanging out. Anything else there, Jez?
I think that's it. Just get around the footy, get around the Bombers to cover. Come on,
Love it.
come on.
I'm very much looking forward. I love so going to Queensland. Like we take my folks each year when we go up there too. So the old man and I usually sort of try to find a pub where we can watch the Carlton game or two Carlton games. We've been up there for 2 weeks, I think, the last couple of years, and yeah, I love watching footy in a different state. It is great. Like because you either have people who really care about it or like no one cares about it. It's amazing. It's so much fun. So I can't wait to get up there. So if you're in Mission Beach for the next couple of weeks, come say good day to the bloke with his big red beard.
Mission Beach.
Yeah. Weather up there in Queensland is not great, so it might be 2 weeks sitting in a cabin in a caravan park, but
Watching a lot of reruns of Carlton Premiership.
should be awesome. The 95, he's got the 95 Premiership behind him as well because it's got the AFL patch on it as well, right? So that'd be the
bang on. So you've got your man David Parkin there with
Sticks.
Who was your captain that year?
Sticks
Kernahan. Yep.
one of the great voices in all of AFL. Love that.
Sometimes it's hard to be a woman.
I love it. All right, until next week, stay off the rubbish gear. This is Footy Unfilterated. I'll use the words good. Footy Unfilterated. We'll catch you
That's
next
what we
time.
do here, Jim.
See you.
What can